The date, July 10, 2016. The location, Stade de France. The atmosphere was electric, the stakes monumental. It was the UEFA Euro Final, and Portugal was up against host nation France. The hopes of an entire country rested on one man, Cristiano Ronaldo. Fans from both sides filled the stadium, their cheers echoing into the night, each chant building an atmosphere charged with anticipation. This was no ordinary match. This was a battle for history. All eyes were glued to Ronaldo, Portugal's captain and their brightest star. He had carried his team to the final with his unmatched skill, leadership, and determination. To his fans, he wasn't just a footballer, he was a hero, a symbol of hope. And yet, just 25 minutes into the match, something unthinkable happened. Ronaldo went down. He clutched his knee, his face twisted in pain. The crowd fell silent. For a moment, time seemed to stop. Could this really be happening? Portugal's heart and soul on the ground, unable to stand. The sight was gut-wrenching. Ronaldo, the player who had carried the weight of a nation on his shoulders, was now unable to carry himself. But this is Ronaldo we're talking about, a man known for his resilience, for pushing boundaries, for defying the odds. He wiped away his tears and tried to carry on. Limping, struggling, he forced himself back into the game. Every step looked agonizing, but he refused to give in. Yet, deep down, he must have known the truth. This wasn't something he could simply shake off. Moments later, he collapsed again. This time, there was no getting back up. Medical staff rushed onto the field. Ronaldo's expression told the entire story. He knew his night was over. The tears flowed freely as he was carried off the pitch on a stretcher, the crowd stunned into silence. For most players, this would have been the end of the game, the end of the dream. But Ronaldo? He wasn't done yet. Not by a long shot. While his teammates continued to battle on the pitch, Ronaldo had a choice: retreat into the locker room and nurse his disappointment, or find another way to contribute. And in true Ronaldo fashion, he chose the latter. From the sidelines, something extraordinary happened. He transformed, not as a player but as a leader, a motivator, a coach. He stood at the edge of the pitch, pacing back and forth, his intensity undeniable. He shouted instructions, waved his arms, and encouraged his team with the passion of someone who refused to accept defeat. Ronaldo's presence on the sidelines was electric. He wasn't just watching the game, he was living every moment of it, willing his team to dig deep, to fight harder, to believe. As the game dragged into extra time, the tension was unbearable. Both teams were exhausted, pushing themselves to their limits. And then, in the 109th minute, it happened. Eder, a player few had expected to be the hero, struck the ball with incredible force. It soared through the air, past the French goalkeeper, and into the net. The stadium erupted. Portugal had done it. They were champions of Europe for the very first time in their history. The scenes of celebration were unforgettable. Teammates embraced, fans wept with joy, and amidst it all was Ronaldo, limping onto the pitch to join his team. He didn't just lift the trophy that night, he lifted an entire nation. But that night in Paris wasn't just about victory, it was about resilience. It was about refusing to give up, even when everything seems lost. Ronaldo's injury could have broken him, but instead, it became a defining moment in his career. It revealed a different side of him, not just as a player, but as a leader, a mentor, and an inspiration. After that night, Ronaldo returned to the game stronger, smarter, and more determined than ever. His journey from heartbreak to triumph showed the world what it truly means to be a champion. It's not just about skill or talent, it's about heart, perseverance, and the refusal to quit. So, what would you have done in Ronaldo's position? Would you have given up, or would you have stood tall in the face of adversity? Ronaldo's story reminds us all that champions aren't just born, they're forged in moments of struggle, in moments when the world counts you out, but you refuse to count yourself out. That night wasn't just about a trophy, it was about a legacy. Cristiano Ronaldo showed the world what it truly means to rise above challenges, to lead, and to inspire. It was more than just a game, it was a moment that defined one of the greatest legends football has ever known.